I'm reading Margot's message here. She has a question for you. So check out the chat.
Can't believe Zoom worked for us.
I cannot hear you.
What?
Oh, wait, no, it's me. Sorry.
Oh.
I'm like, my brain is not working. I'm like, I hear you, but it's like really, really quiet. Okay, sorry.
I was just thinking how the Zoom gods were smiling upon us.
I know it didn't even ask for a passcode. I was like, what is this gift we've been given today? Zoom has been such a beast. It has been an awful beast lately, so we shouldn't curse it too bad since we're using it. But man, people found their way. How nice.
Very good.
Very good. Well, I wanted to pick a card for us today, like
Oh,
for me
yay.
and you. But what deck do you want me to get? Or do you have one you want to do?
I like the one that we both use a lot, the Light Seers one, since I think you got it for me.
Yeah, I did, and I haven't used it in a while.
I'll pull one from the one that you got for me then.
All right.
That seems right. Seems like the right thing. Oh, this is my office, everybody. It's my bed. I have a haunted office upstairs. Did I tell you about this yet, Maryn?
No, I want to hear about it.
Yeah, there's a teeny tiny. I should take a picture for everyone and send it in a newsletter. It's hilarious. It's a closet. But the person who lived here before me put like a desk level like countertop basically at the end of the closet. So it's kind of like a tiny little office. It's
That's
really
funny.
silly. It is funny. And I was like, oh yeah, I'll totally use this. And I put all my stuff in there and the light worked when I bought the house. But now the light doesn't work. And not only does it not work, sometimes if you would use the voltage thing, sometimes there's voltage to it and sometimes there's not. It's very mysterious. Even the electrician was like, I don't know, I'm gonna have to come back and like spend more time trying to figure this one out.
Maybe you need a house clearing.
Yeah, that is probably true. It is probably true. I'll pick a card. And then we promised people fun giveaways, right?
Yeah, we're definitely going to give away stuff.
At the end.
I guess, sure, whenever. Sam, I feel like maybe you can help you in charge of that somehow, figure out what we're giving, and
Okay.
Sam will have to be the impartial person picker.
Person picker. I often pick this one actually. The Page of Wands.
Oh, sweet.
Yes. This lady with her cool wand. She also is wearing shoes that are kind of cool. Anyways. Shall I read from it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. This page is a free spirit who carries infectious enthusiasm with her. Delight in her youthful, raw, and exuberant creative energy and pay attention to the new ideas that are bubbling to the surface at this time. Like I said, I've been pulling this one a lot and I keep reading it and being like, okay, sure. Come on then. where are the bubbles? You'll find flashes of inspiration here, inspiration that comes bundled with massive potential. If you're feeling the creator angst of not having any solid plans to bring these insights to life, let go of your need to formalize your plans right now, giving your ideas the space they need to develop before sharing them prematurely will allow their wings to fully form. The mantra is, as the dreamer of my dream, I spontaneously and passionately ignite this flame. It's fun. It's like the youthful, creative, new energy card.
Yeah, that's really cool.
It is cool, especially since we're here today talking about how we're old friends.
Yeah, may it be so. May we find, yeah, all of the new as we go forward, which is really cool. And the number 13, of course, is what we're focusing on because that's how many years ago it was that we met. And my daughter Belgium is 13, but she was a couple months old. So we'll get into the story of it. But 13 is like the best number. So I think it will be like our best year ever
Best year yet.
until we get to like 33.
Oh my God. We're gonna be so old. Great. Should we read some of these cute friend stories over here?
If you want to.
Sure. Ashley said, my bestie is Maddie. She's also a birth worker, and I feel like I've met myself at a different age. Long lost sisters. My favorite memory with her is the first time we pulled cards together. Stefan said, Julie Stewart, dancing together at Tedeschi Trucks concert. I don't know if I said that right. Allie. Hi, Allie. Amelia is my bestie, and fave memory is watching our babies play together outside while we sat in her sunny kitchen drinking coffee and talking. That's sweet. Jennifer says, Kayla, we have been besties since our moms were besties when we were growing inside. So many memories over the last 34 years. Probably our 5-star hotel that looked like Norman Bates was going to get us in the shower. Cool. Thanks for sharing your bestie memories too today. Fun.
I was looking at some of the photos, Sam, that I guess you found of us over the years, which just made me laugh because there's that funny one of Celosia and Ever when they were babies at the juicery, looking so funny.
That's so cute. Did you post them on Instagram?
Yeah, she put some on the stories. I don't even know where'd you dig those up? I don't even know.
That's
So
hilarious.
great.
I'll have to check those out later. That's so fun. Well, where should we start? Should we tell the story of I said we should celebrate our first date.
Yeah. I feel like you get to tell a story.
Me?
Yeah. I mean, I can chime in, but I feel like you have the story because
Sure.
it's kind of more your story.
Yeah, I know. I was trying to think of like different details than I usually share too. Because usually it's like, oh, this is how I got into midwifery, but today we're talking about just like how you and I met as humans. Um, yeah, so I guess I can retell it because I bet a lot of people here haven't heard it. Um, I was so 13 years ago, I was 21. Is that right? Yes. No. Yes. 21. Um, and I was in grad school. I had started that fall. I had graduated with my undergrad the spring before. It was like a big year. Like it's kind of cool to look back and be like, man, there was a lot going on that year. That was the year that, like I said, I graduated college. I started dating my kid's dad. I got my first tattoo. I did was that yeah, it was just like, it was a big year. Um, Started grad school and kind of had like an existential crisis after starting grad school. I was studying domestic violence policy work on like a national level. And I was on my county's fatality review board. So anytime a woman was murdered by an intimate partner, I would get like the message, and then we'd have to go sit down and like review the case. So like true crime, but like trying to figure out how we could prevent this from happening again. Anyways, so I knew I wanted to work with women. I knew I wanted to do something to like try to change the world, make the world a better place. I was an idealist. And I got halfway through my first semester and I was doing great. I was getting straight A's, but I was just like, this is not for me. Something is not aligned. And I don't think I had that language at the time, which of course, now looking back, I can see like, oh, I remember standing at a bus stop to take the bus back to like the other side of campus and just being like, what the fuck am I going to do with my life? Because like I thought this was it and this is not it. And just having like a moment of clarity in Flagstaff, Arizona. And people have probably heard this part of the story before, but basically I went to a free event on campus and they had free food, which is why I was there, near that same bus stop where I had this moment, this epiphany, and ate a bunch of free food. And then I thought I was going to barf. And I was there with my kid's dad, who I was dating. And I was like, we got to go home. Like, I feel so sick. And so as we were leaving this room full of people, I actually ran into a woman named Moan. And she was someone that I had been babysitting for here and there. Like, I don't remember even why, but some nights I would watch her two kids. She asked me how I was doing and what was going on in my life. I hadn't seen her in a little while. And I told her, I don't know. Like, I don't think this is the right path for me. And I think I want to be a midwife, because I skipped that part. I had this like Googling session where I was like, well, if this isn't what I'm going to do with my life, what am I going to do? And a woman in my undergrad program had mentioned that she was a doula. And so like somehow this tiny memory like came back to me this one night when I was Googling, and I went down the rabbit hole of like, what is a doula? What is a midwife? And so I just like blurted this out to this woman, and she said, oh, you should meet the midwife that I used for my last pregnancy. She lives down in Sedona. Her name's Maryn, and her practice is called Red Rock Midwifery. And so I was like, okay, great. Like trying not to like let on that I was maybe about to barf. And like left and got out in the fresh air, and I felt a lot better, but we still went home. And when I got home, I got out my like little Dell laptop and Googled Red Rock Midwifery, and up popped Maryn's website. And her logo was a red woman symbol. And that was the same as the first tattoo that I had gotten earlier that year when I had turned 21. And so I had this like, full body chills moment of like, whoa, this is crazy. This feels very right. Sent her an email, and I think it was probably like a week before today, so end of October, sent this email, and we set up a date to meet on November 1st at the Chocolatery in Sedona, which is a restaurant. And we were joking about just the food there and feeling, how did you put it, Maryn?
Oh, rotten coconut oil was what I said. It's a very special place.
And,
Very special place in Sedona. In
and
fact, yeah.
I was just gonna say, I had only been there once, and I had felt so fancy when I went there. I had been there with my previous boyfriend. We went on like a date to Sedona, which was 45 minutes away. And it felt like a really grown up thing to do, like to drive 45 minutes away to try out a vegetarian vegan place. I was vegetarian at the time, and it was like expensive for us. So we had gone there. That was the only time I think I'd even been to Sedona, really, other than before I met Russell. But so when you suggested that we meet there, I remember being like, fancy. We meet at the vegetarian place. Cool. Where, like you said, everything kind of smells like rancid coconut oil, but also is kind of magical. They have a really cute little outdoor space. And I just remember not knowing like what to expect. And it's so fun to think about that many years ago. Just like, and I'm sure this feels the same. I'm curious what you remember too, Maryn, but like, I don't know, like being 21 and just feeling so young and being like kind of self-conscious and like, I don't know if this lady's gonna like me. And like, I don't even know how, like, I've never met a midwife. So like, I don't even quite know what I would do to try to make her like me. Um, yeah. And I just remember driving down the canyon and just feeling like really excited, and like it was it felt already at that point like it was the next part of like a news story, the first part of like a news story, which was really exciting. And Sedona is so different than Flagstaff. If people haven't been there before, it's like you're leaving like a forest, like a pine forest, mountain, snow town, and you're like driving to the desert. So it's like it literally felt like I was leaving one place and going to another.
That is true.
Yeah.
It's a very unique, yeah, it's a very unique place in that you can get like, it's a totally different places like really quickly, especially as a midwife. That was always weird. Like you could attend a birth, yeah, like you're saying, up on a mountain in the snow, or you could be dying of heat down in the deserts, just whatever. I know. I wish we had kept those emails. Maybe I don't think they're dig upable anywhere after this long, but I remember just getting an email from you, obviously, before we met, and not knowing, of course, what the future would hold and thinking, yeah, I just wonder what this person's about because I was a pretty new midwife. Had only been like a year or so, I think, that I was licensed in Arizona. So I had a lot of requests for students because I was the only midwife there. So yeah, I was more just like, wonder what this one will be like. And to think you were 21 is so crazy since you said the other day, like that's, how old Amelia is. That's my oldest daughter. That seems crazy. So I think you were pretty mature for your age, of course. And I don't remember thinking that you seemed like a kid, but I mean, you were a kid, really. So that's funny.
It is funny.
And yeah, I remember bringing Belgium. I mean, I guess she was May, June, July, August, September. She was like 5 months old or something.
Mm-hmm.
And well, that's like a different story, but Margo was really helpful with Belgium when she was a baby. And I love that that's like Belgium's like one of the only memories she has, like, because you don't really have a lot of memories, right? Usually of being a baby. Some people have none, but for Belgium, she remembers being with Margo, like, and she remembers laying on your bed before she could crawl or walk. She remembers like being in that little
Yeah.
space
Treat.
you had with Russell. Yeah. Which I think is so cute that's like one of her first memories is hanging out with you.
She was kind of one of the first babies I really like got to hang out with too, which is kind of funny. Like I had been a nanny and had babysat a lot, but it was like, kids who were like 18 months or 2 and 3 um or older. And so I remember that feeling really fun too. Like I'd get to put her in the ergo and take her for a walk with her at prenatals and she was being fussy or whatever. And I was like, oh, this is such a treat to get to like snuggle this little baby.
Yeah. She was a pretty sweet baby too.
Oh my gosh, she's so cute.
Now she's just
And
a girl.
I remember thinking too, like, because she was number 5, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. That you were like, I have 5 kids. And I just remember being like, oh my gosh, like this lady has a lot of kids, a lot of experience, and that just feeling so it's just funny to think of too, because now you've doubled that. But at the time, just being like, I've never met anybody with 5 kids. Like, wow, that's amazing. So yeah, that was so fun. I'm sure I got a veggie sandwich on their weird bread. Their not bread.
Bread. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to remember how if we like left it, if did we leave knowing that I was gonna start, or did we kind of I'm gonna fire off an email to NAU to see if they can dig out my really old emails for me. So it would be fun to see.
I feel like we met, that was November 1st, and then we kind of left it for like, okay, something by the beginning of the year. I don't remember if you had something to finish or like,
Yeah.
kind of if you're still interested by the time next year rolls around in 2 months,
Yeah.
we'll talk again.
Totally. And so I think I had, part of me really wanted to just quit grad school like that day and just start. And then the other part of me was like, okay, let's give it some time to breathe basically. But I was committed. I was like, we had said January 1st because it was a Monday and it was midwife Mondays for you at that point. January 1st was a Monday and it was after I was done with my semester. And so I did finish my semester but all the papers that I wrote basically for the rest of the semester were all about birth and midwifery. I made like a pretty immediate switch and have some really, I should share that. I don't know why I've never put that on the blog. Like I have some really cool because I was in an applied criminology program. This is part of the story too that people have maybe heard. So I wrote like this real banger of an essay. It was probably 10 pages long about like the criminalization of midwives in the US. Isn't that
Creepy.
crazy? It's creepy. It was like total
Yeah.
foreshadowing. Um, and I just got like I was all in, super into it, and just like couldn't wait to get started. Um, and yeah, I'm trying to remember when we moved down there. I guess we didn't move down because Russell, my kid's dad, ex-husband, um, he's from Sedona. So it also felt very like weird and serendipitous. Like, oh, I had just started dating a guy whose family was in Sedona, and this midwife is in Sedona. And I had never thought about Sedona. Like I said, I'd been there one time ever before that, maybe twice, like with my mom on the way to the Grand Canyon or something. But I would never have thought to even look in Sedona for a midwife to train me, to precept me. So it all was like pointing very strongly towards this inevitable thing, which is so cool. But yeah, we didn't move down. Now I'm remembering we didn't move down until like that next summer. So I commuted weekly, which was really fun. It was my favorite day of the week to drive down for midwife Mondays.
That's right. Even back then it was Mondays.
Mm-hmm.
But that was so fun when you moved down to Sedona because we lived within walking distance of each other, which was so like old timey and fun. And we could like, I mean, we went to births together, like in the same car. Like I would just pick you up or vice versa. And that was like really unusual too, you
I
know?
know. I don't think I knew how good I had it. I think that was taken for granted probably by me being like, oh, this is cool, but like that's really cool. I have such fond memories of like standing out in my dirt driveway waiting for you to pull up that weird, like curvy driveway and it being like the middle of the night, smelling like the desert.
Yeah, I know. Creosote.
Mhm.
Such good memories.
Yeah. Andrea asked, how did your student teacher relationship turn into such a tight friendship? What a good question.
Well, I would say there's probably lots of reasons, like past lives and karma and all the fun stuff. But, I think Margo coming in so fresh was great, obviously, but having the beliefs that she had, that you do have, I didn't know how important that would be. So, I had no idea where I was headed at that point. I was just like in my little bubble, blissfully, being a licensed midwife and thinking that was great. And then all of that stuff happened with the state, and there just wasn't a more perfect person to like be witness to that, and I think um these like bigger topics that come up in midwifery around that kind of thing, like prosecution, persecution, sister wound, witch wound, you find out who your friends are. And so it kind of makes me like feel teary because like there would have been a lot of people that like wouldn't have like stood by their, for their own ass really, and like all the power to them, right? Like we see that all of the time. And like when I did go through all of that licensing stuff with the state, I mean, there wasn't a midwife in sight that was willing to like stand with me. That's just the way it is sometimes for midwives that are scared. So I've always admired that about Margo. It never seemed to freak her out or bother her or scare her. Like she was in it. And, I know that wasn't just for me, it was for the picture. It was for this bigger picture of like autonomy and sovereignty. And so when I think about that being like the basis of our friendship, I think what we've grown makes so much sense because that's something that neither of us had to convince each other of. I mean, I had to learn it. I didn't come in with that. I didn't, I had to experience it to believe it. So for me, that was, huge. to have someone witness to that and non-judgmental. Like I said, I think most people would have run away. Most people would have been like, oh my God, this is midwifery, get me out of here.
Yeah, I think it was a really cool way, like the universe kind of set it all up. Like I said, with that being literally what I was studying, you know, and like at the very first meeting with Maryn, I somehow, you know, I guess not to get way too into it, but like my background in the year or two before that was really I had been really influenced by some different like activists in Flagstaff and had been learning a lot about like anarchist political philosophy. And so when I came into that meeting with Maryn, I was like, I don't think I want to have a license because, and I still feel this way now, you know, like I just don't feel like the government should be part of this thing. And I was so excited about like the intersections of like that world I'd been a part of for the last few years, and then this new world of like actually having skills and like actually being able to help people in this really cool like hands-on tangible way, instead of like, you know, a lot of my activist friends were kind of just like their work was cool but it wasn't that effective, in other words. And I hadn't figured out my thing. Like I had a lot of filmmaker friends and musician friends, and like that wasn't me. And so it was like, well, what's my version of this going to be? And so it was like, oh, this is so exciting that I'm going to be able to like bring my activism and like my desires for the world to this like place of midwifery. um and then I was going to just say too, with like the friendship piece, I think it's just, you know, the magic of, like you're saying, all the past lives and everything too, but you know, just the time, like the longevity of it. And um yeah, going through so much together over the years, um the highs and the lows, and moving, and kids, and miscarriages, and you know, like our stories just got, like I feel like we met and it was pretty instantly like, you know, our it just started like weaving together in a way that like the story just would have looked so different. Oh no, now I'm gonna cry, without each other. So yeah, I think the student preceptor thing, like logistically, a lot of people are like, well, I'm going to be a student with this person, and then it's like maybe we kind of work together, whatever. But like, I don't know, it just felt like from the beginning it wasn't going to be like, oh, I'm your student and then we're going to like part ways. Like that didn't feel like it was ever going to happen, if that makes sense. I don't know. And then I think also working creatively together on a project, you know, outside of just like going to births, like building what is indie birth together too, has just made the friendship all the stronger. And Maryn never made it weird. I guess that's the other thing I'll say too. Like, I think a lot of preceptors have a hard time being like, oh, I was your preceptor. And so there's always going to be this like thing. And like, there still is. I very much still think of Maryn as a mentor too, in addition to being my bestie, you know, and friend. But do you know what I mean? Like it just very organically transitioned, because it didn't feel like Maryn had this like attachment to like, you're a student, like, and I don't know, which wasn't super rigid. And so it flowed kind of just naturally in that direction of like, okay, now we're kind of partners, and now we're equals, and now we're, you know, like it just felt easy. And I think that that's just part of like one of the millions of things I love about Maryn, is just that lack of rigid thinking and um letting things, yeah, happen organically.
Yeah, I feel the same way. And I felt the same way. It didn't feel like you were a student ever, you know, like I was mentally aware of the fact that like this was new for you and like there were things you didn't know, but it never felt like that. So I don't know what you were channeling, but it also wasn't like overconfidence. And that's something else that I always have loved about you. Like, um, you know, there's a lot of like arrogance in general in midwifery, and like students are no exception. And Margo just was never that student, like not for a minute. Like I promise you, there was not one moment ever of arrogance. And it felt like we were just in it together, which is funny looking back because like I know, you were new. So just like when I was new, you didn't know anything in this lifetime, but it didn't feel like that. And one of my favorite parts that like I would love to still have in my life, is that like the women we served really saw us as a team. I really think they did. And Margo made friends with some of them, maybe even more than I did, and maybe even still, I know you keep in touch with some of them even from years ago. And that was just a really great feeling, to be like, it's this team. And again, I think that it's so rare in midwifery. It's so rare to have that. Maybe it shouldn't be rare, but it kind of is. So it just felt really, yeah, just felt really natural and balanced. And even though Margo didn't have a ton of experience, like I just trusted her, it was like if there was someone that needed someone to sit with them during labor or whatever, it's like, oh, she can go do that. Um, and even at births, it obviously evolved to the point where we could like brainstorm together. And that's not the case with a brand new student. I mean, you're not really looking to them for that. But that just happened naturally too, where, we wound up at these births where it was like, okay, what are we doing here? Not just like, what am I doing here? What are we going to do with this? What is needed here? And again, there's just no better feeling than that. And I feel like everybody, I hope, has the opportunity to have someone like that in their birthy life, and in their regular life too. But being at births and feeling that kind of support is really incredible. And yeah, I would do it again.
Totally. I know. Got to figure out how to do that again. Did people have any other questions for us? Should we give away something since we're halfway through?
Yeah, let's give away something. You guys have seen our new stuff maybe in the store. If you haven't, you can go check it out even. It's just indiebirth.org/shop. Check it out. Sam, who's here, has made all kinds of fun new designs, and maybe there will be more to come, and etc. You can check back, but the stuff there is really cute and so much cuter. And our store was looking really sad because the place we used to print stuff was like out of shirts, like out of certain styles. And so the store was like really, really sad. And now it's fun, just in time.
What should we give away? How should we do it? This is unscripted if anyone can't tell.
I mean, it's never scripted. Ooh, I like this. I like this women own birth sweatshirt. I think that's new. I have not seen that till right now. There's also a t-shirt. I don't know. There's so many cute things.
And
the
I'm gonna
baby.
do a wardrobe refresh.
Yeah, definitely. I know. What do you think, Sam? Can you pick something? Pick something and then maybe randomly pick a person. And so if Sam picks you, you will want to email us at support@indiebirth.org. Just say what you won and what size you want and what color, if that's applicable, and we will get it to you. Oh, Mabel, today, November 1st, is the day we like met in person for the first time. That's today, All Souls Day.
Today. What other fun stories do you want to share? There's so many.
So many, yeah. Well, I mean, I've had Margo at my 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th births and a miscarriage. So 6 births, which is probably more than you've been at for anybody Might
Yeah.
be more
Or
than you'll ever be on for anybody.
yeah.
And that's like, yeah, so super special. And again, something that I wish for everybody in a sense to like have a best friend that's a midwife is pretty cool and to totally trust them and just have them there like for our family, and that's something I know my husband has always appreciated too. Like it could have just been us, but he has always appreciated Margo being there. And, it's just part of the family, like Celosia at least. I don't know that, no, I guess Arrow hasn't, well, he's been around, I guess. Nobody was at Rumi's birth, but Celosia was there when Cove was born. And so, she's just part of the kids are just part of the fabric too of like really growing up together. And Cove was a baby at Arrow's birth. And we have like so many ways that the kids have been together. I love those pictures. I haven't seen him in a while. The one where Ever is laying on the floor when Celosia is being born, and like they're 9 now, and I mean, Ever still thinks that's like the coolest thing ever that she was like a baby laying on the floor, just watching one of her best friends be born. It's so special.
It's really cool. And Celosia was in my belly and was there in the room whenever was born. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
like
it's
they were
crazy.
both at each other's births in one
Yeah.
other. Yeah. And um and Arrow was in my belly at Cove's birth. And then she was there when he was born. So that's really pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. And Maryn was at both of my births for both my kiddos and was my like, you know, rock and text midwife for my 2 miscarriages. Because one of them you were in another state.
Right.
You had just left. I remember being like, oh my God. I think you'd maybe been away for a couple weeks. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, that was so yeah, so we both were part of each other's stories for sure from like then on, all the births and pregnancies.
Yeah, and with my miscarriage, you were at that birth center in Utah, and I was like waiting for you to get back before I like did anything. And that was I mean, that wasn't why I waited 4 months, but that is why I waited at least till you got back,
Yeah.
just planning it around that. And yeah, I can't imagine having not had you there for that. That was so wacky.
And it was the day I got back, I think.
Yeah, no, it was like just serendipitously happened because yeah, you're right. It actually wasn't planned. I think I had planned it for the next week when I knew you'd be home. And then somehow it happened sooner and you made it. And yeah, that was also really special and cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, the horse video. Yeah, that thing makes me laugh. I should watch that anytime I need to laugh.
Have people seen the horse video? Show it.
I mean, it's like my sense of humor is so strange that I don't know if anybody else, I mean, certainly many people think it's funny, but I remember watching that at your house and I like literally could not breathe. It was so funny.
Yeah.
You should just link it. What is it?
I'll send a link. Yeah.
Internet drama. Yeah, it's the internet drama guy. I don't know. I should check his YouTube actually. He might have some more fun stuff
Oh
because my kids also think he's so funny with the
oh, wait, it's playing. Ah! Yeah, hold on. I got it.
yeah, it's funny you bring that up though, honestly, because oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, I think of all the times that we have just like almost died laughing, like in the car or on the way to a birth or a prenatal. And I really do miss that about not living near you because, it's all like serious business these days, it feels like. I mean, and it's hard with the internet. It's like you just have to be in the same place sometimes to laugh at the same ridiculous things. And
I mean, dare I say the most recent funny thing we were laughing about? I could private message it to you.
Okay. I don't even, yeah, you'll have to because I'm not recalling.
Okay, so this is only for people here who are cool enough to have shown up. But we joke sometimes that maybe we'd be more popular if we had cooler names.
Oh.
Like
Yeah.
like maybe if I was named Schmapio. And only some of you will get this. And if I wore cool
Mapio and Schmapio.
Schmapio and Schmapio. I think that's funny, but we have definitely had some really good laughs about that.
Yeah. Complete with, we would do costumes and everything.
I've discussed a costume I would wear. Maybe there's a wig involved.
Well, and if you get that, good for you. But also, Sedona is really famous for Sedona names. So there's kind of like a double meaning there. Everybody in Sedona has a Sedona name.
Yeah.
And we never gave each other Sedona names. We never got them. But like that alone is probably fuel for like a whole hour of laughter. I mean, there was a guy there. I remember meeting him at a party with kids, and his name was Boysenberry. Like these weren't even like highly spiritual names. They were just funny. And actually, there's a lot about Sedona that you could spend all day laughing about. So it's funny we have that in common because we both like get it. I mean, it's just a culture. It's just, yeah, it's a unique experience that we've both had that will tie us forever.
There was a very funny joke on a comedy special I watched recently about the word boysenberry, and it's like we the humans got to name these berries. It's not like the plant was like, my name is boysenberry, and poison it's a lot like poison, and so it was a poor choice on behalf of humans to name it a boysenberry. That was a funny one. Oh man, yeah, the Sedona names. There was the naked dad. That was a funny moment. We could have like a bloopers reel.
Oh my God. I feel like, were there multiple naked dads? I guess there has been for me,
There
but I
have
feel
been
like for,
now. There was only the
yeah.
one that we experienced together.
Yeah, and weren't those the people that, okay, they were very young. They were a
They're
very young Sedona couple. I mean, she was maybe 19 or something. Like they were so young. And God, I hope I'm not mixing up stories, but weren't those the people that were gonna birth at like this old psychic lady's house and she had all these crazy little dogs?
Raven Delacroix, I believe was her name.
I mean, only in Sedona. I swear to God, it's like a cast of characters. Like there is a movie called Sedona, and that is for good reason. This lady was like, yeah, like a
American actress
elder.
and stripper.
Oh God, yeah, and maybe some kind of new age practitioner, which everybody. So she had befriended this young couple, which in and of itself was strange.
You guys, I
And
found her Wikipedia link. Hold on, I'm gonna put it in the chat.
yeah, these people were going to birth at her house with her. What were they, Scotty dogs? Like she had a bunch of Scotties. It was just this like strange experience. But anyway, they ended up not birthing there. And this is the dad that just like, yeah, stripped down. And we were like, okay.
If anybody needs
That's
some,
funny. I wonder if she's like still alive.
I hope she is. There
Yeah,
was
I
also
think she
something
is.
she was really into. Raven was really into. Somehow we did a prenatal at her house once, right? Because they
Yeah.
do it there.
Yeah.
It says she's 76. That sounds right. She was like 63 or 5
Mm-hmm.
or something. Um, and she was like so into the whole dolphin birth thing. She just wanted to talk about it for like the whole hour. And I'm like, are you gonna get a dolphin in your converted garage here in Sedona? Like, I feel like this is a moot point. But maybe she would have made it happen. I don't know. And they were really into the whole like letting the baby come out and be underwater for like a like they wanted it to be like a long time for spiritual purposes. And we were like, maybe no.
I feel like they did do that though. Don't you remember that baby being underwater for a little while?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
little. And they had a lot of cats. Like their cat had babies, and there were like all these cats.
Oh, we were dying at that house. Yeah.
wandering around this house. Very little. So many funny stories, birth related and otherwise. Does everybody know that you have a nickname? You're or an alter ego? Superpower births? I mean, you have many superpowers births, of course, but
I
I want
know. It's my best one.
I really have to find the footage. Maybe Sam, you can help me remember to find the B-roll footage. We were watching this video back from a birth, and it's just like shadows, like slowly winding up toilet paper around her flat hand. Like there was a technique. Just rolling it up because this lady was pooping so much on this like squatty potty. She was like and Maryn could see there was going to need to be some poop removal. And so I nicknamed her the poop snatcher because it was very in like the video. It's like really, I just need to find it so everyone can see it. And then when you got it, it was like it was quick. It was very skillful. And I just remember joking that like that was not something that's not one of my skills. I'm not
It's just
skilled.
not something you can teach, Margo, you know?
I'm just not gifted in that capacity.
Oh man. Poop snatching, all the things.
That birth was also funny because I'm trying to remember, well, what else was funny about it? Like there was more poop. It was more about poop. Poop is funny, everybody.
Was that the one where the dad went and like barfed in the sink when the baby was born?
Yes, that happened. That was also funny. So you can hear him, the baby comes out and he's like, wow, and then you can hear him like, like but then this part's not funny. It's not funny that she bled a lot. But we were trying to give her rectal fluids. Do you remember this part of the story?
Oh yes.
And the rectal fluids did not stay where they were supposed to be. They like just went everywhere basically. And somehow in like the melee, poop like got across the room, like shot across the room, and we didn't notice until we were like, sounds terrible. I feel like I shouldn't even tell this story till we were dragging this. Do you remember?
Yeah, it was really a rough situation. It was a rough situation.
She like couldn't get up to get to the bed, and so we had a shower curtain, and we just pulled her to the bed on the shower curtain.
Yes, this woman was not going to be transported. That
She did not
was
want
she
to
was
go.
not going anywhere.
Not
So
happening. She got an IV from like her naturopath friend not long after, but it was like she
yeah.
can't lay on this floor anymore. So we drug her on a shower curtain to the bed, and as we were dragging the shower curtain, I spotted the poop that had somehow shot across the room and had to like steer the shower curtain around the poop. So it was just, and I think it was funny. You had to be there. Maybe you had to be there, but and we were really tired. It had been a lot of not sleeping, so that also adds to the funny.
Yeah, and squeezing breast milk into showers and sinks because that was a really long birth.
Yeah.
And my baby was home. Yeah, it was a crazy birth. Oh my gosh, there's like so much more to it too, but that was one of those like glad we were both there. It was intense.
Yeah. Good stories. What else?
I don't know. I mean, there's so many stories. It's like I can't think of any. I can't think of any more at the moment. But they're all in there.
I remember going to a birth with you on 4th of July in Minnesota. That was fun. And there being like fireworks going off as I like drove to your house. Not the real ones, just like people
Mm.
around, you know. It was maybe the middle of the night-ish. That was fun. Gone to births with each other in many states, which is funny.
Yeah, that's true. Many different places.
I can't believe
Yeah.
that Regan Delacroix played a woman named Margo in one of her movies. That's an amazing fun fact. Thank you, Mabel. Was it in one of her pornos? Or just one of her regular movies?
That's funny. I didn't even know. Yeah, I didn't remember that woman was an actress. I thought she was just like a sort of failed psychic or something, but maybe she was that too. I don't know.
Is there a picture of her on here? I feel like people should see a picture of her, but it's okay. I won't obsess over it.
Yeah. Someone asked up above about our dynamics as we moved around and not lived near each other.
I did find a picture of Raven Delacroix. I did obsess about it. I'm sorry. But we can talk about something real. Our dynamics as we move around. I know that is a good question because sometimes I wonder too. I'm like, how did that work?
Right. I mean, there's been a fair amount of moving. So we've moved together, we've moved apart. And I remember, of course, I mean, we moved together first, and then we both moved back to Sedona. What a weird thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then you moved away first from Sedona. And I
Yeah.
remember being like really sad about that. And I mean, I have all those journals at home, but I like know which one it was, but I was just like so sad. But, also like wanting you to do what you needed to do. And we were friends, but also you were, a student becoming a new midwife. So I don't know. I guess it felt a little like, with teenagers like leaving the house, it like felt a little like that. Like she's got to go do her thing. Like I don't really want her to, but like she's got to go do it. And if this is how she wants to do it, you're not going to hold your teenager back. You're not going to hold your friend back, but just being like really sad and like kind of like, what am I going to do? And long story short, another student appeared that was like, of course, nowhere near was like a rebound. Must have been like a rebound relationship there. But I remember thinking, I mean, Margo filled like obviously such an important role that I was like, oh God, like, can I even do this alone? Like, do I want to do this alone? Like, who could possibly be that person? And I mean, there weren't any midwives. So anyway, that's my blab about you moving away. And that was kind of the beginning, I guess, of all the different moving.
All the different moving. I know. And I feel like I was so young then too, because I moved in 2016. I guess I wasn't that young. I was 27. But like, like you said, starting out a midwifery practice on my own and like not even knowing if I would, right? Like I was in this really weird space of like, do I finish my CPM stuff or do I not? I'd been to 50 plus births at that point. And so yeah, it felt similarly to when I moved to Sedona, and that like an opportunity just like was there. My brother had a rental property that he was willing to sell us for really cheap, which is like crazy now thinking about it. We bought it for $90,000 7 years ago. And it just felt like where's the path of least resistance? Like we were trying to figure out where we could live in Sedona, and it just, wasn't lining up. And so it felt weird to move away before I felt like I was necessarily even ready. to do the midwifery thing, but long story short, I did end up doing it pretty shortly after moving there to Duluth. And yeah, and then when did you move to Kentucky? Was that, how many years ago was that?
Well,
Two?
it was only two, so I was in Sedona
For 5 more?
a while after you. Yeah.
Yeah. And I traveled back a lot, I feel like. Because we moved to Duluth in June, and I think I came back for all of August and maybe September, like almost 2 months. I stayed with you and went to a
Right.
couple more births with little 2-year-old Celosia. Um, and then like we had conferences there that I'd come back for, and like other winter reason excuses. Like we came up with a lot of reasons for me to come back, and I stayed with you a lot. And then sometimes I'm trying to remember exactly how that all worked out, but in other words, like I moved, but it wasn't like we never saw each other in person. Um, oh, and like you had babies. That's why too. I would come when you had babies, and right? Like trying to think.
Yeah. I mean, that birth we were just joking about, that was a birth you came back for. That
Yep.
was like a February, like all of February birth. So yeah, we had a bunch of good stints, and one summer, right, we came up with Indie Birth Midwifery School when we were together. And so I feel like a lot of good projects still needed to happen in person, probably. I mean, I think that's still the best way, honestly, but
Well,
everybody's.
uh-huh. And we had started that before I moved, if I recall.
Yeah, I
Um,
don't even remember. I
I
just
think
remember
so.
writing out the note cards.
Yeah. I think we started before I moved because I feel like as soon as I got to Duluth, that was like one of my big projects in the meantime before starting my own practice. Or maybe it was the following year. Anyways, in any case, that was kind of what I was saying earlier too. Like when you have projects together that you're working on, even if you don't live in the same place and you're like committed to working on them. Because I feel like we got a lot, almost more done with indie birth stuff once I moved,
Hmm.
because when we lived in the same place, like I said, we kind of like took it for granted, and it wasn't like we were doing weekly business meetings.
Right, right,
It was sort of
right.
like we'd chat while we were having like a potluck or, out on a walk, which we also do that now, but just on the phone. So, and then we also have our dedicated meeting times. And so in a lot of ways, I think that was really crucial too, is like, we never went more than a few days without talking to each other, even after I moved. And in some ways I feel like that actually helped us build a lot more things. And maybe that was just like the natural place where we would have done that anyways, even if I hadn't moved. But um yeah, maybe that answers your question.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely have a good flow. I don't think we go a couple of days even now without talking. So it's just the way it is. I feel like the time difference is weird, but it's working out, and yeah, all good things.
Yeah. And then when you were in Kentucky, there was definitely like I was looking at houses there. You know what I mean? So like there's always this impulse to be like, okay, wait, how can we be back in the same place together? Because that would be so great and so fun. And it's
Right.
still something I think about every day. So, who knows? Oh, I guess that's what I was
Yeah.
getting at earlier when it's like I moved away when I was 27. And in some ways that felt really like, oh my God, like such a big deal. And now I feel like even just with a few years of time, and I just moved again to a new city, and it's like doesn't mean we're never going to live in the same place again. There's like a different perspective, it feels like now, and seeing that it has worked out. Um, but yeah, if anybody wants to sell me a house in Hawaii, you know, let me know.
Yeah, I feel the same. I mean, I know we still both have like this dream of this sanctuary place where students will come and get trained and we'll have birth. So that's still alive and well. And, I think that's opened it up for us both too, to be like, all right, where is this going to be? Going to be somewhere, but we don't know where. So perhaps that will be one of the next steps.
Yeah. Well, should we give away some more stuff at the end of our hour?
We should. I don't know that we gave away anything yet. I don't see anything, but maybe maybe you chose and didn't type it, Sam. I have no idea what's happening here, but
She
we
looks
have
like she's
plenty.
on.
Okay.
Yeah, you should tell us who won stuff, and then they can.
I did choose someone, and it
Okay.
was Aki won something. So
Want to do like 3 more things
sure.
for all these lovely people who came.
Yeah,
today?
why don't you say what it is too? That's fun. That way when people email us, they can say what it is that they won.
What is it? What is it?
I don't know. Let's see. What did someone win already? What was the product?
I told her to choose, so that was a
Okay.
wild card one.
I think we
Okay.
should throw away some of these like cute. I can share my screen. How about I share my screen? How about wait. Don't look at how many tabs I have open. Okay. How about you pick one and I pick one, Maryn?
Okay, go for it.
I want to pick this one. The Women Own Birth sweatshirt. I want somebody to get that. I can scroll till you want to pick one, Maryn.
All right, scroll, please. Keep scrolling. I like that t-shirt. That's a cool t-shirt. You should
One or
do
this
that one. Yeah, that one.
The green one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or whatever color
Yeah,
people
right.
want.
This design. And then Sam, what's your favorite? Do you want to pick one?
I like the with women one right there. To the
This
right.
one?
Other one.
Okay.
How do I pick people? I just like closed my eyes.
I know, I was gonna say we could pick like numbers and you could go down, but then there's not numbers on the. Yeah, we need like a roulette wheel. Yeah, there you go. It's like point at the screen. We got everybody on the screen. How about I pick someone and Maryn picks someone and then you pick someone, Sam.
Okay, let's do it.
I can see everybody. Okay. Rachel Lieberman. You win a thing. Yes, you. That's right. And then should they email you, Sam, with like the size and color they want?
Yes, please.
So I'm gonna put that in the chat. Sam at indiebirth.org. Maybe your free thing. All right, Maryn, close your eyes and point at your screen.
Julia.
Sweet.
Cool. You are a winner.
Oops. Sam, you want to pick our last one?
Sure.
Anyone else have any questions for in the chat before we leave?
Allie Sarberg. I think that's one of Margo's clients. Is
Yeah.
it?
Yeah. I love Allie.
Fun.
Yeah, people are confused about what thing they won, though. I guess we weren't clear. We're very disorganized here. We don't give things.
I can list it off. I'm typing away in my notes here.
Okay, you, Sam.
So, Rachel won the Women Own Birth sweatshirt. Julia won the Women Own Birth t-shirt. And Allie won the With Women sweatshirt. The one that says, yes, that one.
Oh.
Very good. And if you want your very own and you didn't win one, you can totally go to indiebirth.org/shop and purchase anything you might like. Sam, I do want one that says Indie Birth on the butt cheeks of sweatpants.
Yes. I was really debating that. I was like, should it say something even sillier? I don't know.
They're so classy though, the way they are. I like them too.
About birth baddie.
Yes. Bringing back the 2000 era.
Yeah, like the juicy
Yes.
sweatpants. Yeah, that's exactly what I want.
Just birth
Never
juice.
liked it. There's also the spiritual birth gangster ones if people are interested. I think this one's very funny. Was this inspired by my post that one day or when I said, yeah, postpartum mother lover? Very cute.
They
Some
do
nice-
ship internationally, by the way. They
and
do.
if you need an indie
We do.
birth baby onesie, there's also that. And then we have all of our retro, not retro, but like our older stuff. We've got our we've got Sam here, very lovely future midwife hoodies. We've got our cool birth witch stuff, other indie birth stuff. I personally, this is my favorite that I wear everywhere. Keep birth wild. This is also a classic, the birth warrior one. So good. And we
Are
got
those like back and able to be ordered or no? Not
are
yet.
they you ordered, Sam?
They are not. They are not.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I shouldn't show you.
Some of them are still in stock, but some of them are sold out. I
Yeah.
have not revamped them.
All in time. It will happen. Awesome. Well, thanks for hanging out with us for this funny virtual party. I don't know what would make it more party-like, but I think
I
we're
was
good.
gonna like Postmates myself some like bad vegan food to reminisce, but I haven't yet. Maybe there's still time though. It is lunchtime here. Is it
Right.
breakfast there?
Yeah, it's early.
Cool.
All right. Thanks for being with us.
Just a reminder too that our midwifery magic thing starts today. If there are any midwives here among us who or advanced midwifery students who want to still get in on it, it's not too late. I'm going to send that email after we are done here for all of the people who
Yeah, we're extending registration for the next week, even though anybody that's in it is starting today. Kind of doesn't matter so much if, you get a couple of days lag time there. So you still have about a week to probably get in on that. And Jacqueline, like with your group from last time, I've been meaning to message you guys, but we totally want to invite you on the calls too. So we'll be in touch about that once we set them up. So yeah, go out and do something great in the world today. If you can hug your best friend, do it because some people can't. But just gratitude for all of you for being here. And Margo, of course, I love you. I'm so glad that we met.
love you too. This was super fun. What a good idea.
It was a good idea. All right, everybody. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.